Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Jay, back again with another video. Shout out to all my witches and wizards out there. Happy Moon Day to everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Remaining in their space and definitely a time to, kind of remain inward and stuff like that. Not saying, like to be in hermit mode, stuff like that, if that's not what you want to do. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of external things going on, so just remaining in our space and, controlling our state of being is super important right now. So yeah, hope everybody's doing what they need to do to hold it down and stuff like that. But yeah, in this video, I'm pretty much going to start going through the sun, through Pluto, just like with the elements. And then once I get to the outer planets, I'll start going through the signs specifically and kind of what they represent for, like each sign. And say Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto and stuff like that, because that's more generational and stuff like that. So yeah, in this video, I'm pretty much going to be covering the sun, the moon, Mars, and Mercury, just so I can kind of, break it down a little bit, not too deeply or anything like that. And then, yeah, on the next video, I'll do Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. And then on the last video, I'll close out with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. All right? So yeah, let's just get right into it. All right, so starting with the sun is going to be like our actions. This is like our vitality. It could have to do with like our ego. I think it's important to like, how they say like ego death and stuff like that. I feel like we need to like level up our ego, like a higher form of that. I feel like once we do transform our ego from our lower natures or from a I guess maybe like narcissistic place and stuff like that, or doing things based on fear, or just letting your ego run your life and stuff like that. I feel like the evolved version of that is just like confidence. I feel like like an advanced ego is just somebody that's truly confident, somebody that knows their self-worth and stuff like that. Like extremely powerful with that and stuff like that. They believe in themselves fully. And things of that nature and stuff like that in terms of the advanced ego. So yeah, like that's why they may say the sun deals with the ego and stuff like that. Because yeah, this is like our actions, how we push our energy out and stuff like that. Like like the type of energy that we'll push out, the type of energy that people will feel from us, how people probably see us on a more deeper level. I feel like your rising sign is probably what people will see off top, and then like maybe if you meet some people for the first time, that's probably what they'll see at first. Is like your rising sign, and once they get to talk to you more, and maybe once you open up a little more, they could probably see your sun. They'll definitely see your sun. And then on a deeper level, like your close friends, stuff like that, will probably see your moon and stuff like that. And they'll probably tell you're probably more your moon than than all your other ones, like your sun or your rising and stuff like that. That's how I feel, at least, But yeah, like I said, the sun is your actions, the energy that you push out, things that you shed light upon and stuff like that. So we're going to start out with, if you have your suns, if you have the planet, the sun in your natal chart, if that is in an air sign, this is going to be based upon acting on ideas, all forms of communication. This is going to deal with like movement in general. I feel like air signs, they kind of got to be on the move. Like it's not just like, yes, their minds are always going, especially Geminis, all air signs though, Libras and Aquarius, their minds are constantly moving and stuff like that, constantly in tune with thoughts, all forms of communication, like I said, whether it be with yourself or others, or just all type of forms of communication. And this is also, like I said, when it comes to, like it's not just the mental movement. I feel like air signs in general, they like to move around a lot, like they definitely like to be on the move, be on the go, and stuff like that. This is also going to deal with like relationships. We know like the air is like the element of relationships and stuff like that, like relationship masters on a higher level, on an evolved level and stuff like that. And this will also deal with like detachment, specifically from like heavy things, maybe like heavy emotions, heavy yin realm vibes and stuff like that. yeah, they're definitely going to detach from that, you know, because they don't like to feel heavy. They like to keep things light. And yeah, like I said, they already probably got enough going on in their mind and stuff like that. You know, they definitely don't need to be analyzing all that heavy energy and stuff like that. You know, but on a more evolved level, they probably work on healthy detachment. You know, I feel like healthy detachment is detachment in general. I feel like is underrated. You know, certainly in this reality, certainly in these times, for sure. I feel like detachment on a healthy level is super important. Um, and then yeah, you know, that kind of gives a little brief breakdown of air signs for if that's in the sun for you. Moving on to the if you have your sun sign and if it's in the water element of water. Um, and I probably should have did this at the beginning. You know, I'm pretty sure we all know and stuff like that. But water, all the water elements are Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. I just covered the air. We all know air. I just talked about that. Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. We all know the earth elements are Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. And then the fire elements are Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. All right, so back to the if you're water, if you have if your sun is in the element of water, this is going to be dealing with acting upon feelings, acting upon intuition, acting upon mysticism, and yeah, you know, you're really going to be pushing out those yin vibes, you know. So like I said, this is going to be big on, you know, on the emotional aspect, on feelings, intuition, psychic abilities, and stuff like that. I feel like that's what this is going to be representing, you know, on a brief breakdown type of level. And then if your sun is in the element of earth, I feel like this will be based upon people that keep it realistic, people that are practical, people that are stable, people that like building foundation and stuff like that. Uh, I feel like it's also just going to be yeah, people that are just like I said, you know, people that are great at building foundation and stuff like that. You know, I feel like these are going to be like the builders and stuff like that, and that's how they go about their business. They act upon these type of things. And lastly, fire. If your sun sign is in the element of fire, this is going to be dealing with expression. Like these people are probably going to be acting upon expressing themselves, self-expression, creative expression, dynamic expression. These people are going to be, you're really going to see their emotions and stuff like that, as opposed to maybe water signs. They may hold on to their emotions, or maybe not show their emotions. They may just kind of be more introspective and stuff like that, and use their emotions to like more so manifest things, you know, because you know, the emotional aspect is a part of manifesting. And then yeah, like I said, these people are really just gonna be pushing out a lot of action, pushing out a lot of passion. I mean, excuse me for that. These people are gonna be pushing out a lot of passion and stuff like that, dynamic passion and stuff like that. These people are gonna be very dynamic. That's like the key thing for fire element, if it's especially in the sun, especially if it's Aries, because Aries is exalted in the sun. Or you know, well, I know the sun is ruled by Leo as well, and Sagittarius is mutable fire, you know, so they can kind of play many different things. They can play both sides and stuff like that, you know, or they can play whatever role they want, you know, dealing with fire, you know, which is really cool about mutable. On the bad side, you know, mutable can get caught up with maybe not being themselves, maybe being too out there, too open with everyone, and stuff like that, you know. Moving on to the moon, this is going to be like your inner world, the things that we manifest, what makes us feel comfortable, and like our reactions and stuff like that. So starting out with air again, if the moon for you is in the element of air in your natal chart, this is, like I said, going to be your inner world is going to be dealing with, and you know, like the things that you manifest, the things that you attract will have a lot to do with thoughts and ideas, communication. I feel like here this is going to be dealing with a lot of like mental stimulation. I feel like having your moon in an air sign, the sun sign air, if the sun sign for you is in the element of air, I feel like they'll be dealing with a lot of mental stimulation as well. But I feel like it goes deeper with if you have the element of air in the moon for you. I feel like that's going to be on a deep. You're going to be going deeper with mental stimulation. You know, like you're probably always going to be trying to stimulate yourself, with some type of communication, some type of, even if, talking to yourself. I feel like with air in the moon, I feel like they, we all know thoughts are not ours and stuff like that. So I feel like air signs will always be, kind of communicating with themselves, communicating with different spirits and stuff like that, building a relationship with thoughts and stuff like that from a standpoint of like acting on thoughts that they need to act on, and then detaching from thoughts that they don't need to be acting upon, kind of resisting the thoughts that they know aren't theirs or know aren't going to benefit them. I feel like that's what air sign in the moon is pretty heavy on and stuff like that. Like I said, these people are probably, on a more advanced level, these people are going to be great with communicating, like with the higher self. Yeah, like I said, a lot of mental stimulation and stuff like that. And then moving on to water, if you have your moon in the element of water, this is going to be dealing with deep emotions, security, loving, and like giving love and receiving of love and stuff like that. I feel like this will be a very caring element. These people are very creative. This will make you dream a lot. I feel like if you have the element of water in the moon, I feel like you will be a dreamer, even if that's a daydreamer. You'll always be somebody that's kind of in your imagination, and even like on when it's time to rest this physical body, you'll be somebody that dreams a lot in general. Probably very vivid, lucid type dreams and stuff like that. And then yeah, these people will be very introspective. These people will have like emotional reactions. Like their reactions will be very emotionally based. So kind of be in control of your emotions, so you don't react from a place that'll get you burned and stuff like that. Or you'll burn yourself and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I feel like that kind of is a little brief breakdown of water. And then moving on to earth, if you have the element of earth in your moon sign, I feel like this is going to be based upon attracting like stability, like groundedness. You're probably somebody that's very grounded. Your inner world, your emotional world, stuff like that will probably be very grounded. You're somebody that's very grounded. Probably people will probably say, you act older than who you are. You probably matured at a young age and stuff like that. People probably threw a lot of responsibilities on you, so you had to kind of mature at an earlier age and stuff like that. I feel like, this will deal with attracting resources, values, status, routine, like practical moves and stuff like that. You probably be somebody that's like, you create blueprints and stuff like that. You're probably like the blueprint maker and stuff like that. Like I said, somebody that deals a lot with responsibility, understanding, and you'll probably have like a very practical approach to how you react to things. Like people may call you detached and all of this, or oh, you're not emotional and all that type of stuff. But I just feel like on a higher level, it could really be of benefit to you, if you do have practical reactions. So you're not overreacting. You're kind of keeping things at a level that you can kind of feel comfortable with, and you can kind of maneuver with and stuff like that. You'll be riding those waves instead of getting washed up. And everybody has to, I feel like, act in their nature. So don't so appreciate who you are. Appreciate your elements, appreciate your signs, and tap into your natural energies and stuff like that. Because those will be of benefit to you, no matter if you feel it would be better if if your moon sign was in fire. That'd be cool too. But it's like, hey, tap into what earth element represents and stuff like that, and definitely it'll benefit you in your life personally. And then moving on to fire, I feel like if the moon for you is in the element of fire, this will deal with a lot of attracting individuality. I feel like you'll be somebody that's very playful, very charismatic. You got the gift of gab, as well as we all know air signs probably got that gift of gab, especially Libras, especially all Libras. But I feel like fire as well. They'll be very charismatic. They got that gift of gab. This will deal with a lot. I feel like this will deal with a lot of attracting, like traveling, a lot of experiences. I feel like you attract a lot of situations where you're being seen, or maybe you have to be like on center stage, or people are looking to you to create that fire and stuff like that in a certain situation. Um, these people will attract a lot of adventurous things and stuff like that, or these people will be very adventurous themselves. These people will be very creative and attracting a lot of creative like things. These people will be very active with trying to create freedom. I feel like these people will be very free and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just a little brief breakdown of all the elements in the moon and the sun. So let's move on to let's do Mercury. Mercury, this is gonna be like your mental space, kind of like how your mind works and stuff like that. Like how your mind is tuned. I feel like this is the filter that your mind has, and this could also deal with like your communication style as well. So yeah, I feel like if the sign of Mercury is in the element of air, I feel like this will make somebody that is very quick, very witty. They have probably a smooth like intellect and stuff like that. Somebody that'll be very what's the word? Maybe just like nifty, or they'll be just like I said, be very swift. Like with their minds and stuff like that. Very these people will be these people will probably have an easier way of thinking and stuff like that. Like thinking will probably come easier to them, because Mercury is like left-brained and logical and stuff like that, and air is, the masculine side of the left brain. Like they push out logic and stuff like that. So these people will, I feel like Mercury loves to be in air. Like Mercury loves to be in air. So these people will probably have an easier way of coming about thinking, learning, and processing facts, processing information, processing knowledge, and stuff like that. That doesn't mean they'll be the best at turning knowledge into wisdom and stuff like that. Because we know air, I feel like air needs to act. Like they don't need to be so much in their heads. They can get caught up in their heads and kind of creating different things in their head, or how like they feel like they know how things will go, but I feel like they just need to act. Like if they tap into their we know fire is right brain, the masculine side of the right brain. So if we tap into our masculine brother, on the other side of the right brain, I feel like we need to take action. So yeah, fusing the two, I feel like will create the best outcome, definitely. Yeah, like I said, if your air sign, if the air element is in Mercury for you, this will deal with a lot of ideas, concepts. This will probably be somebody that's like detached, from a. They'll just be like more of like an observer, stuff like that. Like they probably have like an observant perspective and stuff like that. I feel like air will definitely help you communicate like your thoughts and stuff like that. As well as here, I feel like like I said, it deals with the left brain, and I feel like yeah, these people will definitely like communicate from a standpoint of not letting emotions get in the way and stuff like that. They'll be pretty even kill with stuff like that, like not letting emotions run their world and stuff like that. They won't be too over emotional. Like I said, they're going to be dealing with a lot of logic and stuff like that, so that's probably how they're going to go about communicating and stuff like that. And then, yeah, moving on to Earth. If Mercury is in the element of Earth for you, I feel like this is going to be dealing with a lot of. I feel like your thoughts will be filtered by practical needs and like responsibilities. I feel like that's like where your mind will constantly be like kind of tuned into and stuff like that. And then I feel like this will make a very analytical mind, a very practical mind. I feel like your reality will be based upon mental application. Like actually going about these things in a practical way. Somebody that's very persistent with their practical needs and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like this will make somebody that's very intellectual as well. I feel like this could be good for logical thinking, because we know that Earth is left brain as well, just the feminine side of it, And then, yeah, like I said, this would be good for, logical thinking, details. I feel like it could be great for like maybe if somebody was into like statistics, and stuff like that. I feel like some advice here was just be like don't be so narrow-minded. You know, if your Mercury is in the sun in the element of Earth, like try not to be so narrow-minded, one-track minded. Kind of expand your mind, you know, and stuff like that. Definitely have an open mind, you know, cultivate that in yourself and stuff like that. You know, definitely work on that if you are somebody that is too narrow-minded to the point where it's a detriment to you. You know. Moving on, I feel like we're gonna talk about if Mercury for you is in the element of water. I feel like this is gonna make very perceptive thinkers. These can be people that I feel like may get lost in thoughts and stuff like that, lost in their feelings. They're definitely going to be like fillers rather than thinkers. You know, I feel like Mercury doesn't love the element of water. You know, if and stuff like that because, like I said, it's right brain water, and Mercury it loves left brain and stuff like that. Um, so yeah. But like I said, you know, I feel like these people will definitely be the fillers rather than the thinkers. I feel like their mind is almost like a swimming pool. Like you'll almost be like swimming in esoteric waters and stuff like that. Like you're somebody that's just come like your mind will be pretty much like swimming in like imagination. You'll be like dealing a lot with the spirit realm and stuff like that. I feel like for the element of water, definitely in Mercury. I feel like these will be very wise people. Definitely like from an emotional standpoint, but just in general, they'll be very wise because especially if it's in if you do have Mercury in Cancer because we Mercury is exalted in Jupiter, so I feel like, but just in general, I feel like all water signs are super wise in general. Certainly Pisces and Scorpio. Like I feel like all water signs are super wise and stuff like that, you know. And then yeah, you know, I feel like you guys will have like your emotions will be connected to your thoughts, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's gonna be water, the elements of water and Mercury. And then lastly, if Mercury is in the element of fire for you, I feel like this is gonna be somebody that's very bold with their mind and stuff like that, like bold thinkers. I feel like these people will have no filter. Like they'll probably say the first thing that comes to mind type people, stuff like that. They'll definitely enjoy being heard. They'll definitely probably put themselves in situations where they are heard or just make themselves heard. So don't go overboard, you know, with like um, putting too much on people or, you know, just being too much for people, you know, because like I said, these people I feel like will definitely be the ones to want to be heard and they'll do what it takes to be heard, you know, so don't go overboard. But yeah, you know, definitely be people that are excellent storytellers. I feel like very hands-on learners. Best when being. I feel like you guys will be best when you're fully present in the mind and stuff like that, like fully in the moment, fully in the now. You guys will definitely max out your abilities and stuff. You know, like certainly fire. You know, like I feel like that's you guys can definitely max out for sure. You know, being that goes for anyone in general. You know, but I feel like we all know what fire's about and stuff like that, and they're very dynamic and stuff like that. So I feel like you know Mercury's fast in general. Mercury, you know, is fast. I feel like fire is pretty fast as well. So if you can just find balance within the two, I feel like it can definitely be of benefit. And then yeah, you know, present in mind, body, and you know, spirit. You know, and then yeah, I feel like you know, like I said, these will be people that have very dynamic minds and stuff like that. A lot of you probably be very creative with your mind. You'll be somebody that you know, just like water as well. Somebody that deals with a lot of imagination. I feel like you know, here you may be somebody that could be very prone to like visions. Like you can probably you know see into the future type stuff like that if you do cultivate some of those spiritual skills and stuff like that. Um, and then yeah, lastly, we're gonna talk about Mars real quick. And we all Mars deals with like our passionate actions, how we go about putting passion into things, like high intensive energy from us and stuff like that. Could also deal with like our sexual energy, and then it could also deal with like our competitive styles, competitive natures, and how we aggressively go about things, which is pretty much going to be like the theme, like how we aggressively go about things. dealing with Mars. And then, pretty much just like our overall energy kind of goes, ties in with the sun. Aries is exalted in the sun. We know Aries is ruled by Mars, just as well as Scorpio. So yeah, I feel like they both tie in, because it has a lot to do with energy, like our vitality. But definitely with Mars, I feel like this is going to be like our passionate actions, our intense energy, how we aggressively go about things and stuff like that. So starting out, we're going to start out with if you have Mars in the element of Earth, I feel like this will be somebody that aggressively goes about things in a very patient way. They'll be very strategic. They'll be not super aggressive, but just like I feel like they'll be very calculated. Like they'll be aggressive when they need to be aggressive. Like they probably need to see things in order to act on it, but they will be very persistent with it. And they'll be very productive. I feel like these people will be like the builders. And they'll definitely have a lot of benefits when it comes to building, because that's how they aggressively go about things. So I feel like if they this goes back with tapping into your natures, like your energies and stuff like that, like using your natures, your energies, to get the best out of your journey and stuff like that. So definitely with Earth, the element of Earth in Mars, I feel like you guys can definitely be great when it comes to building and stuff like that. You guys will be very overcoming, like I said, very persistent, very realistic type goals and stuff like that. How you go about things will be in a very realistic type way and stuff like that. Like it kind of goes back to when I was saying you guys will be probably the type, more so of the types to I gotta see it to act on type things and stuff like that, or it needs to sound like logical, or it needs to sound like I need to be able to picture it or see it in reality and stuff like that before I aggressively go about it and stuff like that. I feel like these will be like the hands in the dirt types and stuff like that. Like they're definitely not afraid to get their hands dirty and stuff like that. Put in a lot of hard work. There's definitely be the hard workers. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and we know Capricorns are like the blueprint masters. I feel like like they definitely are the builders for sure. Like I said, they got the blueprint, and they're gonna act upon that blueprint. Be very determined and persistent. And then, like I said, they'd be very hardworking type people, very dedicated and determined. I feel like that kind of sums that up on a brief level. And then moving on to if you have Mars in the element of fire, I feel like these will be very assertive people, very quick to anger, or just quick to act in general. Like these people will be very dynamic. Um, I feel like they'll very quick to express as well. Express themselves in all type of different forms. I feel like they'll be these people probably have high energy and stuff like that. Because like I said, going back, I feel like Mars kind of deals with like your overall energy and stuff like that. So I feel like Earth, they may struggle with energy, from like an overall standpoint. Like they probably need to recharge a lot, or like they'll probably just go about things at a slower pace. But that especially than fire signs, stuff like that, because fire is very fast, quick, and stuff like that, very dynamic. But I feel like whether it's fire or earth, they'll get the same things done, but just the earth will probably go about a little slower at their own pace and stuff like that. Which is there's no hey, everybody's different and stuff like that. Like I said, they'll get there when they get there, and they'll get there. And like I said, they'll have a blueprint about it, like fire may just get there and it's like, hey, I'm there, and stuff like that. But yeah, I just say that to say and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, fire, definitely in Mars, if you have the element of fire in Mars, definitely high energy type people. I feel like they'll be very active type people, very passionate. And they could deal with like maybe impatience and stuff like that. Like they could be very impatient people. Yeah, I feel like these probably will be people that are like leaders, people that like to travel and stuff like that, and yeah, like I said, people that really like to creatively express themselves and stuff like that. Moving on to air, if you have the element of air in Mars, I feel like this is going to deal with high mental stimulation. This is going to deal with, um, I feel like most of your passion will be put, like in um, communication, thoughts, ideas, maybe even like writing, stuff like that, or yeah, I feel like these will be very highly knowledgeable people. You may aggressively go about obtaining knowledge, obtaining information, and stuff like that. These will definitely be very talkative people. Um, I feel like these will be oh, okay. No, my bad. I feel like you guys will attract a lot of people, with like sharp tongues and stuff like that, or you guys have sharp tongues yourself. Like you can cut people very deeply, like with your words and stuff like that. Like you guys will be very powerful with your words and stuff like that as well. Um, and yeah, I feel like yeah, that kind of sums that up pretty good. And then moving on to water, if you have the element of water in Mars for you on your natal chart, I feel like this would be somebody that you find aggression and instincts, emotional power, uh, persistence, intuition, feelings. Um, this would I feel like you guys would be great manifestors. You guys would definitely be great about aggressively going about manifesting and having great energy when it comes to manifesting and stuff like that. Definitely a lot of persistent energy in that field. I feel like you guys would be very strategic and creative when it comes to taking action. And then, yeah, I feel like some advice is definitely don't sit on emotions. Um, Definitely act upon your emotions and stuff like that. The ones that you should be acting upon, or just act upon releasing emotions that you don't need to be holding on to, because we know that holding on to emotions can create an aura that we don't want and stuff like that. um, yeah. So that kind of sums that up, for all the elements going through the sun, moon, Mars, and Mercury. And I know that that was kind of brief and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to kind of cover the basics of astrology, um, you know, and then kind of go deeper and stuff like that. Once I kind of cover all the basics and stuff like that, I'll probably go into the signs specifically for each planet and all that type of stuff, and do my whole thing, and then like I said, kind of go deeper with astrology and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, still to come. On the next video, I'm gonna be doing Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn, and then on the last one, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And then yeah, we're gonna start something new, guys. So yeah, that pretty much does it. Hope everybody has a good moon day, keeping their vibes up, keeping their energy high and stuff like that. Definitely on the proper frequencies. And yeah, being outside and stuff like that. I'm getting outside every day. I'm trying to stay outside. I mean, stuff like that. So I hope everybody's doing the same. So yeah, enjoy your moon day, guys. Until the next video.